Hi, what's up, guys? It's Devon back here with the Rollout Podcast, doing the DFS breakdown for the 2023 Waste Management Phoenix Open. I'm excited for this one. It's going to be fun, and we're going to talk a little bit about last week and get moving forward into this week and hopefully help you guys out, win some money, maybe. All right, let's get into it. So before we get into it, just want to talk a little bit about last week. I talked about two of my favorite plays were Brendan Todd and Keith Mitchell, and they both end up in the top four. And so that's 2 weeks in a row that two of my favorite plays have been top five in tournaments. The week before it was Homa and Morikawa. This week it was Brendan Todd and Keith Mitchell. But I also do have to mention, I said I was all in on Spieth, and I was. I picked him in one and done. I bet on him outright. I used him in my single entry lineups on Draftkings. I used him in all the qualifiers that I was in. So I was all in, and it hurt me. If I would have just went with like Victor Hovland instead, who was someone I said I was just absolutely not playing, that would have helped out. Spieth and Kevin Streelman made the cut on the number. It didn't really do much for me after the fact. But luckily the single entry lineup, the higher stakes lineup, and the qualifier lineup kind of got saved by Brendan Todd and Keith Mitchell. Troy Merritt ended up missing the cut, so that kind of hurt. And then I had Nick Taylor, who ended up being like T20. I don't know exactly where he was at the end because people were moving up and down the leaderboard at the end. But last time I seen he was like T20, which if he was T20, that means I got him on my top 20 bet as well. I haven't really checked that. But yeah, so the process is there. Like what I'm pulling out and who I'm picking, I'm there, and it's just one of these weeks where it all kind of clicks and it's gonna really pay off. So hopefully that's this week. I was it was a profitable week on DraftKings for me, about a little bit. It was a little bit. Like I basically got my money back and a little bit. But where I really made it up was I played a $19 qualifier for a Fantasy Golf World Championship qualifier ticket valued at $307. And funny thing with that is coming into today, when they finished up this morning on Monday, I was like hovering second place. There's only 19 lineups in this thing. I was second place, and I was like, for a while, I was like 6 points behind, and the guy in front of me only had Bo Hostler. He had Bo Hostler in like one of the final groups, and then I had on the course at the end, Spieth was finishing up on the front nine, and then I had Brendan Todd and Keith Mitchell finishing up on the back nine coming into 18. And Spieth really didn't do much. Spieth got like a kick-in birdie to start the day, end of the night when they called. Had like a 2-foot putt for birdie, but he really didn't do anything else. He made like one birdie, and that was it. And then Todd started off hot, and Keith Mitchell just like could not hit a putt. Like he had so many opportunities. I was watching. He lipped out a couple times. He just like. He was there, but he could have won the tournament, but he just couldn't hit a putt. And going into 18, so Brendan Todd finished. He was he was tied for second, and then Spieth finished, didn't really do much for me. So it kind of came down to Keith Mitchell. And I needed Keith Mitchell to birdie 18 to get this ticket for the qualifier. Well, Keith bombs his drive down the left side of the fairway past the tree that was in the middle of 18, and like was setting up pretty good, looking good, like was gonna get there in 2. He only had 204 yards in, and then he hits his second shot, and it just kind of veers off to the left a little bit, and I thought it went down in the bunker, but it actually sat up in the rough right around the edge of the green. And I'm like, okay, I just needed him to get this close, knock in birdie, and I win. Well, then I also realized Keith Mitchell hadn't bogeyed at all during the round. So all I really needed Keith Mitchell to do was par at minimum. I'd get the bogey-free round bonus, and I would have won the ticket. Keith ends up getting up and down for birdie. I get the points for the birdie that won it for me, and then I also got the points for him moving up a position on the leaderboard, and the points for him having a bogey-free round. So I absolutely cleared the guy by like 9 points, and I ended up getting a ticket for a $307 qualifier for the Fantasy Golf World Championship. So I'll be looking forward to using that. Not using it this week because can't find a contest that I can use it on for this week, which is weird. But so moving into this week, we're just gonna run through it really quick. I talked about the course and like my initial research yesterday. Only thing I really tweaked was I brought down the percentage on approach in my model to 15%, and I moved tee to green to 20, just because I want to highlight the guys that do both, like hit, are good off the tee and approach, and have them a little bit higher in my model, because when I was splitting them up and putting 20% on off the tee and 25% on approach, I was still getting guys at the top of the model that were not really that good on approach, but were really good off the tee. And so I really wanted to get a little bit better of a highlight of the guys that are doing well in both categories. And so yeah, I moved that around. And then I took the strokes gained putting off, because yes, being a good putter can help you here, but it doesn't set you apart, because it just seems like everybody can putt here because the greens are really easy. So I took that out of the model as well. So I'm just going to run through real quick. So yeah, we talked about the course and everything in the last video. So I'm just going to go through and talk about who my favorite plays are in each category. So I'm going to start, we're going to go, I guess, 11K down to 9,000, and talk about who I'm liking here. So I do like Rory McIlroy, but at 10-8, it feels like you really need him to win the tournament to pay off, almost, or like top 5 at minimum. And I'm absolutely staying away from Jon Rahm. Jon Rahm is my fade this week. I think someone other than Rory and Jon Rahm is gonna win this tournament, and we'll talk about who I think that is gonna be. But yeah, I absolutely have no problem playing Rory. Rory, I mean, all around is the guy that looks the best. I mean, he came out number 1 in my model. I mean, he is like top 10 in every category in the model. He looks really good. He like has no holes in his game, and he's on a great run right now. So I have absolutely no problem playing Rory. But I might not get to him that much. He's definitely not probably going to be in my single entry lineups. And then I'm absolutely fading Jon Rahm. Jon Rahm's my fade. But to get to my 3 favorites in this range, I'm going to go with Tony Finau at 10-1, Xander Schauffele at 10,000 flat, and Sung J M at 9,200. So when I went through the last video, I kind of guessed to what I thought pricing would be like each range. And in my 10K range, I had John Rahm, Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele. I didn't think Tony Finau was going to sneak into the 10K range. I thought he was going to be in the upper 9K range, but he snuck up there. And then when it comes to the 9K range, I had Patrick Cantlay, who's there, Justin Thomas, who is there, Colin Morikawa, who is there, Victor Hovland, who is there. I had Jordan Spieth in the 9K range, but he's actually down in the 8K range, upper 8K range. I had Hideki in the 9K range, Matthew Fitzpatrick in the 9K range, and that's all I had there. And then 8K range, I had Sam Burns, who's there, Sungjae, who is actually 9,200. Shane Lowry is in the 8K range, right? Yes. Tommy Fleetwood's there. Cam Young is actually 8,900. Yep, he's at the top range. I thought Tom Kim would be down in the 8K range. He's just in the lower 9K. I thought Tom Hoagie would be in the 8K range. He's 7,500. That's kind of crazy to me. He was in the 10K range at Pebble Beach last week. Corey Connors is actually in the 7K range, which surprised me. Keegan Bradley's in the 7K range, which surprised me. Siwoo Kim is. Billy Horschel is in the 7K range. Tyrrell Hatton I got in the 8K range, and I got Taylor Montgomery. Surprise to me is Ricky Fowler being in the lower 8K range. That's really the only person that really stands out to me that it kind of seems like he's a little higher price. But yeah, so my favorite plays in the 9 to 11K range. My three favorites are Tony Finau, Xander Schauffele, and Sungjae Im, and I am fading John Rahm. My honorable mentions in the range are going to be Rory McIlroy and Tom Kim. Tom Kim is just electric, and I think he'll feed off this place. I mean, the big crowds, everybody cheering. I think he will absolutely feed off of it, and it's not going to rattle him one bit. So I think it's a great fit for him. Moving down to the 8K range. I'm going to be honest, I think this is a range that I'm not going to be really getting to. I think a lot of people are going to be on Cam Young. Played well. He finished second in the Asian Tour event that was going on last weekend when Pebble Beach was going on. Just lost to Abraham Answer. And I think a lot of people are going to go to him because he can hit it far. And he can score. So I think a lot of people are going to go to him. So he's going to be my fade in this range. Also, another fade for me is Jordan Spieth. He fucking hurt me last week. So I'll pass. I'm just really not liking this range. I'm not interested in Sahith Theegala. I'm not interested in Sam Burns. The only two people that I'm really interested in this range are Tyrrell Hatton and Taylor Montgomery. And I have a slight interest in Tyrrell Hatton just because of how he's been playing overseas. But you guys have heard me talk about Taylor Montgomery for the last few weeks. This kid, man, he's electric. And I keep calling him a kid, but he's the same age as me. So I better stop calling him a kid because I don't feel like I'm a kid. And I don't think he is either. So the way he bombs it, I think he can get it done, and he can score. And I think this could be a good course for him. I'm not looking at Shane Lowry. We haven't seen him over on the PGA Tour in a while. I'm not looking at Tommy Fleetwood, and I'm definitely not looking at Ricky Fowler at 8K. That's kind of crazy to me. That's kind of like what they did with Luke List at the Amex when they had Luke List priced at 8K. Because he was the defending champ. I think they have Ricky Fowler priced at 8K because of his course history, and everybody's been talking him up, and he's been playing better. Right below him, starting in the 7K range, moving down to the 7K range, Jason Day at 7,900. Pass. Ricky and Jason have been both playing really well, but there's just too many other guys that I'd want to get to around in this range at a cheaper price. So, I would say my fade in this range. Fade in the 7K range, man. I think it's Billy Horschel. You know, I said in the last video I liked Billy Horschel, but man, I started looking at him more. I was like, I don't know. He's just not looking good right now. And Billy shows up, you know. I'm sure he'll probably end up showing up now that I'm talking trash about him, but his numbers just don't look good recently, and I'll wait till we get Billy in the Florida swing. That's where I'll take him. So some guys that I like down here in the 7K range, starting off with Alex Noren, who is playing really well here. I actually have his tournament history here on Data Golf. So last time we seen him on the PGA Tour was at the Houston Open, T4, back in November. And then he played the DP World Tour Championship the following week, and he was T2. And then the Abu Dhabi Championship, he was T5. So Alex Noren's looking pretty good. He was T6 here last year. And I don't know, man. He just caught my eye out of nowhere, and I really like Alex Noren now. So he's one of my favorite plays in the 7K range. My next play in the 7K range is Keith Mitchell. Going back, if he's just sinking putts on Sunday, he would have been right there with Brendan Todd and Justin Rose. I don't think he would have beat Rose, but he would have been up there. And man, he's great off the tee. He's good, and with opportunities gained, good on par fives. Tee to green, he's really good. So I really like Keith Mitchell again this week at 7,400, and you'll be seeing me with him in my lineups. And then the last play that I like in the 7K range is Chris Kirk at 7,300. He's been playing really well, and he played well here at this course last year, and he's hot right now, so I'm going to just keep riding him. I never get Chris Kirk right, so I'm going to play him this week, and he's probably going to absolutely eject out of this tournament. And I'll hate myself for it, but I've accepted that I'm going to play Chris Kirk, and I like what I'm seeing from him. Moving down to the 6K range, I have two that I really like and one that I'm okay with. Hayden Buckley is the one that I'm most confident in because of his off the tee game and his tee to green game. And he's not bad in the proximity numbers that we're looking at in the par fours and the opportunities game. He really sucks is around the green. But at 6,800, I'm going to take a chance on Hayden Buckley, and we see him good tell. So, excuse me, sorry. I really like Hayden Buckley this week. And then the other guy that I'm a little bit more confident in is David Lipsky. He's contended at events recently. He's got great numbers. He's 14th on approach, 16th tee to green, 19th in opportunities gained, 16th in around the green. So I like David Lipsky this week. And then the last one that I wrote down, but I wasn't too confident in, was Lonto Griffin, just because he's showing that the game's still kind of there. But I think he's still trying to get his way back. So if I'm talking about four core plays this week, I think Tony Finau and Xander Schauffele are for sure in that core play. I want to say Keith Mitchell is a core play for me. And I'm going to say Sung J.M. So Tony Finau, Xander Schauffele, Sung J.M., and Chris Kirk are my four core plays for this week. And you'll be seeing me play a ton of those guys. And Chris Kirk is probably going to finally, I regretted not playing him the last couple of times he's been out. I'm going to finally cave in and play him, and he's going to finally break my heart. Well, I mean, he was already breaking my heart when he was not winning me money. So, it's just going to end up breaking my heart again. So, hopefully this helps you guys out. Remember, when we get to 50 subscribers, we'll be doing a giveaway. And so, we're actually, we're coming up on 10 now. Happy with that. 3 weeks into this thing. So, yeah, I'm excited. Remember, leave a comment, talk about who your favorite Draftkings play is, if you got a fade, someone that you're absolutely not playing. If you think I'm an idiot and my picks suck, that's fine. You can say that too. All comments and feedback are welcome. Alright, so thank you for listening, and hopefully this helps you out this week, and hopefully we can win some money together. Alright, see you guys in the betting show.